In the upcoming announcement of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War being announced, yes, that is the title, I decided it would be a good idea to make a video on everything you need to know for the new Call of Duty. While Treyarch's first game was actually Call of Duty 3, I believe it does not have anything to do with any story of any other Call of Duty. So we're going to start at Call of Duty World at War. The main two characters to focus on here are Dmitry and Reznov. Dmitry and Reznov are the ones who stormed Stalingrad and took over Germany, and were able to win the war. But just in case Treyarch does some fucked shit, remember Private Miller and Sergeant Roebuck. They were on the American side and they were storming Japanese islands. In Call of Duty Black Ops, you play as Mason. Although most of the entire campaign takes place in flashbacks, in the present time where the story actually takes place, you're stuck in an interrogation room, asked about where the numbers are, who's Dragovich, what does Dragovich want, what's he planning. It all starts on your first mission when you are sent to kill Fidel Castro. You succeed and you almost make it out, but Mason has to ditch the plane and go for a AA gun on the runway to save Woods and Bowman. Mason ends up getting captured, sees that Fidel Castro is still alive, and that Dragovich and Kravchenko are working with him. Dragovich, Kravchenko are the main bad guys of Black Ops. After that, you go to a Russian prison known as Vorkuta, and who do you meet? None other than Viktor Reznov. After you meet him, he's got an 8-step plan to escape from this prison, and you successfully do. Mason, Alex Mason, is the only successful person to escape the prison off the train. Reznov is cornered by the police and does not make it. After you escape from Vorkuta, you are sent to the Pentagon with your new caretaker, Hudson. In this mission, you meet the president, John F. Kennedy, and in a very weird dreams-like sequence, you almost kill him. But you don't. You can fight it. You can resist it. The next mission, you are sent to stop a Russian space program known as Ascension. The main plan was to have a Russian comrade named Weaver infiltrate and disguise himself as one of the Ascension group and then disable the rocket. Unfortunately, he was compromised, so the only way to stop it is to send a guided missile heading straight towards the rocket before it can get high enough. After that, the plan was to leave, but Mason didn't want to go. He wanted to hunt down and find Dragovich. They ended up finding his limo and blowing it up. Woods promised him, reassured him that Dragovich was not alive, but Mason still knew. Mason knew that Dragovich was alive somewhere. And remember, in between every single mission, you're sent back to the interrogation room. Usually it's just a debriefing on your next mission, but every once in a while you're going to question. That's for the overarching story. Like, what do the numbers mean? Where is the broadcast station? But we'll get to those later. In the next mission, you're stationed in Nam. But the base you're at actually gets attacked by Vietnamese soldiers. You have to fend them off until bigger and better guns can get to your location. But the story isn't too big on this mission, so not too much to say about it. Next up, you go into the Mac V, a city in Vietnam. But it's been completely destroyed, but you're just looking for one man, the Defector. The Defector has intel on all these bad people, Dragovich, Kravchenko. And then, when we finally do make it to the Defector, we see none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Viktor Reznov. Apparently, Viktor Reznov was the Defector. Good to see old friends. You have to fight your way through the Mac V and make it to shore, and then you jump off into a boat and ride into the sunset. After that, you play your first ever mission as Hudson. In this mission, you are sent to find and interrogate Dr. Clark. Dr. Clark was in direct contact with Dr. Steiner. Dr. Steiner was in direct contact with Kravchenko and Dragovich, and he was the one who made something big, something that they needed the numbers for. Its name, Nova 6, but we'll get to that later. In the next mission, you play as Viktor Reznov, and you get to meet the protagonist from World at War, Dmitry. In this mission, you are sent to kill any remaining Nazis that may have escaped Germany, and you are meant to find Dr. Steiner alive. Do not kill him. Once you finally do find Dr. Steiner, he takes you to an abandoned ship. On this ship, you're looking for one thing and one thing only, Nova 6. Once you do find it, you realize that it's a gas that can kill people in minutes, and Dragovich wants to see it firsthand. He locks a few Russian soldiers in a room and releases the Nova 6 gas on them. And one of those soldiers is Dmitry, and you watch as he dies. Then British soldiers show up, and Reznov uses the commotion to plant a bomb and get out in time. You watch as the ship, along with the Nova 6 gas, sinks, allowing no party to get it. But Reznov knew for sure that it wasn't over. He was then captured and sent to Vorkuta. The next two missions, you are playing as Mason again, and you're looking for one person only, Kravchenko, Dragovich's right-hand man. You come very close multiple times, but still can't seem to find him. You happen upon a crash site with remnants of Nova 6 gas and U.S. weapons. Then Russian forces show up, and it's too much for your squad to handle, so you become captured. After that, you play as Hudson, trying to find Dr. Steiner. Dr. Steiner knows what the numbers mean and where the Nova 6 gas attacks will take place. You shut down a comms tower and head towards the building that Dr. Steiner should be in. Once you finally get there, he's not there, but you hear a radio playing. You see a map of where the gas attacks will take place, and the radio is telling you where Dr. Steiner is. Next up, you're back to playing as Mason. You're in a makeshift prison camp that they have, and they're forcing you to play Russian roulette. But before the game even starts, Bowman does some really stupid things and gets himself killed. Woods ends up pulling the trigger with the barrel aimed at his own head, and nothing happens. Then he tells you to do it now. Do it now. You aim the gun at your head and then quickly turn and aim it at the Vietnamese soldier next to you. Then you steal his pistol and kill every Vietnamese soldier in the room. The one Russian that killed Bowman escapes, so you chase him down. You end up stealing a helicopter and head to where Kravchenko's location should be. Once you get there, you find some captured U.S. soldiers. And who's there? None other than Viktor Reznov. I'm just now realizing I forgot to tell you that Reznov was with you the whole time until you guys got captured. So, I'm telling you now. After that, you storm into Kravchenko's base. You do find him, however, you are knocked to the ground, and Woods struggles with him. Woods ends up pulling the pins of the grenades on Kravchenko's chest. They then force each other out of a window, and an explosion happens. After that mission, Hudson says Woods and Bowman are both KIA. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, all must die. Now that Kravchenko was taken care of, next up was Steiner. He was being held at Rebirth Island, and the CIA was already on their way to find and capture him. But Mason had other plans. Mason and Reznov sneak and kill their way until they find where Steiner is. Once you do find him, you watch as Viktor Reznov kills him right in front of you. And that is what Mason truly believes happened on that day. Then you go back and go through Rebirth Island on a different path as Hudson. Once you finally make it to where Steiner is, you realize there's bulletproof glass in the way, and you can't stop him from being killed. So as you try to smash the glass in, you watch as Mason, not Reznov, kills Steiner. You make it in just a little too late, and Steiner's dead. Now, the only link you have to the numbers in the broadcast station is Mason. That's what the interrogating was for. That's why you kept hearing numbers. They were trying to get you to find out what the numbers mean and where the broadcast station is. But the interrogator's running out of time, and he says he's got one more card to play. You realize that Hudson is the interrogator, and as he comes out to unbind you, you punch him in the face and start walking away. As you walk through the building that you were in, there's so many illusions it's hard to count. But as you stumble into a room, Mason screams, "I remember!" And we get a few flashbacks. In Vorkuta, you were programmed to be a sleeper agent. That's how they were going to release the Nova 6 gas across all of America. They were going to release a broadcast of numbers that they were programmed to hear and react to and release the Nova 6 gas. Mason's specific programming was designed to kill the president. That's why you had that dreamlike sequence whenever you met him. But Reznov had other plans. He changed your programming to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner. Reznov died in the escape at Vorkuta, but the programming that he put in you allowed you to see illusions of himself. He was never at Vietnam. And now that you realize this, the brainwashing is finally broken. Hudson tells you to listen to all the numbers one last time and try to translate it. Once you do, you can understand the message. You can hear Dragovich saying things. The most important thing he says is where the broadcast station is, the Rizalka. A ship you saw after you were captured by Fidel Castro, Dragovich, and Kravchenko. So, in the final mission, you storm that ship, kill Dragovich, and destroy the broadcast station. Roll credits. But there's an end credits scene where they imply that Alex Mason killed John F. Kennedy. But they never address it again, and it's all left up to speculation. So, be prepared to see that in the new game, or maybe not at all. Now, Black Ops 2 takes a bit of a different approach. There's two different storylines, pretty much, but they end up connecting to each other. One takes place in 1986 with Alex Mason, and the other takes place in 2025 with David Mason, Alex Mason's son, and Harper and Salazar. There also happens to be multiple endings in Black Ops 2. So, I'm going to be explaining the story in chronological order and for the best ending. Does that make sense? Okay, let's get this started. So the newest, earliest piece of information we get is actually before Black Ops 1 ends. And it's about Woods, because Woods didn't actually die, as you can tell from him being in Black Ops 2, right? So, Woods didn't die along with Kravchenko, right? They both didn't die. But Woods was captured by Kravchenko because he woke up first. And he was stuck in Vietnam for all that time, right? Now, in the first mission of Black Ops 2, you are going to rescue Woods. That takes place in 1986, right? That means Woods would have been locked up in Vietnam for over a decade. Now, that doesn't make too much sense, now does it? Because I don't think anybody would have survived that. He actually made it out of Vietnam. This is taking place in Angola, right? They're rescuing him from Angola. He made it out of Vietnam and was rescued, and then he got captured again on a mission in Angola. So that's where you go and rescue him. Now, once you find Woods, remember he's in a storage container or a box. Remember that, okay? Now, once you find him, you actually try to make your way out of Angola to a rescue team. But you actually end up meeting Menendez. Menendez is the main bad guy of this story, okay? Understandable, right? So you meet Menendez, you shoot him in the face. He doesn't die. Not sure how that one happens, but he doesn't die. You shoot him in the face, and then you have to shoot your way out of where you are. And you almost get killed, but luckily you make it out. In the next mission, you are helping Mujahideen in exchange for information about Raul Menendez, because he's doing some bad shit, right? He's doing some stuff, right? Okay, so you help them out, and along the way, you find Kravchenko, and obviously Mason loses his shit because of the numbers and stuff, right? He loses his shit, okay? But luckily, if you are able to resist, you can fail this. If you are able to resist, he gives you information, and he tells you that there are moles in the CIA, okay? There are moles in the CIA. And the next mission, you play as Mason again, and your goal is to capture Raul Menendez. You end up working with a guy named Noriega. Noriega is the main priority target to capture Raul Menendez. You're just supposed to search around the building and find stuff about them, right? So Noriega ends up capturing Raul Menendez and then sets him free because he is a bad guy. He's a bad person. So Raul Menendez then goes ballistic because he loves his sister, right? His sister was being injured during this raid, okay? So he loves his sister, and he's like a mile away from the building where his sister's being kept, and he just goes on a rampage and destroys everything in his path, right? Okay. Then, as Mason, you search around a cocaine bunker that they have at Raul Menendez's house, and you find a CIA memo. And you obviously question it, and you go, why would the CIA know about this and memo these people? Okay? And at the end of this mission, you try to stop Woods from shooting Raul Menendez, but he ends up pushing you off and throwing a grenade in his direction, and ends up killing Raul Menendez's sister, and that's why he wants revenge on Woods. After that, you play as Woods in Panama. Now, the Woods already felt a little bit off about this next mission. He says it himself. And the reason was because Hudson was on the comms. Now remember, Hudson was from the CIA, okay? So, the main priority is to capture Noriega. You end up doing this, and then Hudson tells you that the objective changes, and to locate the mystery Nexus target, okay? Then, you have to fight your way through with Noriega captured. He almost escapes, but you end up getting him. And then, after that, you, as Woods, go up to the top of a building and pick up a sniper rifle, and you're told to shoot the Nexus target in front of you. And Hudson tells you that it's none other than Raul Menendez, but you can't actually know who it is, because he's got a bag over his head. Now, because of what you saw in the bunker with the CIA memo, and Kravchenko telling you that there's moles in the CIA, Woods decides not to believe him, and shoots the Nexus target in the leg twice, almost killing him. Now, As you walk down to who the Nexus target was, you find out that it was Mason. Then Raul Menendez comes out and shoots you in the legs with a Spaz 12, hence why Woods is in a wheelchair later in the game. And then you watch as he kills Hudson and tells David Mason that he's going to suffer along with Woods. Now, in between all these missions, you can play these things called Strike Force missions, which are more like management missions. I don't really know how to explain it, but basically you manage your troops and you have to complete the objectives. These help you get a better ending because it's more about the entire war of the game rather than just the story of the Masons and Woods. Now, fast forward to 2025. You play as David Mason, and on this mission you're looking for a Solarium device. You end up finding it. The reason you're looking for this device is because it could destroy all the drones the US owns. Okay? Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did, okay? You end up finding it, and after this mission, Woods tells you that Raul Menendez is the one that owns a terrorist organization that is brainwashing people over the world. Not literally, but they're believing in his online videos. In the next mission, you end up gathering intel on Menendez. That's about it. It's not really that important. I'm not actually sure if you need to do it, but you probably need to get all the intel. But in the next mission, you go into a floating island looking for a weapon called Karma. You end up finding out that Karma isn't a weapon, it's a girl. A hacker girl, okay? A hacker girl. Okay? Then, she starts to get captured by DeFalco. And, as David Mason, you have to catch up to DeFalco, kill him, and rescue Karma. Or otherwise known as Chloe. In the next mission, you play as Farid. Now, I haven't really mentioned him up until now because he wasn't really a matter of the story up until now, but basically, you're playing undercover as him, and you're with Raul Menendez, right? Then, you have to shoot your way through American soldiers, and once you get to the end, you have the option to either kill Harper or try to point your gun at Raul Menendez and die. So, you kill Harper because you need Farid to survive. Then near the end of this mission, you play as David Mason, and you go and capture Raul Menendez. Then next up, you're on the USS Barack Obama. Yes, that's the real name of the ship, and you go to interrogate Raul Menendez. When you're about to start, the ship gets under attack, and you go to turn around to tell the guard that something's wrong. And as you turn back around, Raul Menendez is out of his handcuffs, and Salazar has a gun to his head. Then, Raul Menendez tells you to put on the handcuffs, turn around, and you get knocked out. When you wake up, you end up having to storm through the ship and find your way to Admiral Briggs, but you never do. He decides to shut down the systems for the ship to try and restart them to get them back online. But Raul Menendez is standing right outside the door, and he makes his way into where Admiral Briggs is. Then you're in the viewpoint of Raul Menendez. You end up making it your way over to the main console for the ship, and then you find out Salazar was a backstabber, and he tries to kill Karma. But because you let Farid survive, he blocks the bullet, and Karma only ends up getting knocked out. And because of that, the Solarium attack on the ship that Raul Menendez put in there is lessened, right? But even though it was lessened, Raul Menendez still gets control of all of the US's drones, and he makes it out of the USS Obama. But because you did all of the Strike Force missions, which you have to do to get the best ending, the USS Barack Obama is saved. Your next target priority in the next mission is to protect the president. And to do this, you have to get her through Los Angeles and into a safe house that they have in one of the hotels. The plan doesn't go exactly according to what you thought it would, but you do end up saving the president, and you find out where Raul Menendez is controlling the drones from. It turns out he was controlling the drones from Haiti, so that's where the next mission takes place. And because you did all the Strike Force missions, you did those, right? Yeah, because you did all the Strike Force missions, you get China's help. So, it's a lot easier to attack on the compound. But, even though you make it to the control center and you're locked out of the system, you can't get into the drones. And then a feed shows up on the big screen. All the drones are destroyed. So, what happened? Raul Menendez destroyed them on purpose. Because he wasn't trying to win the war, he was trying to start a people's uprising. And You figure out Menendez is in the compound. So, you track him down and decide to capture, not kill him. Then, in a cutscene, you find out Alex Mason is still alive because Woods shot him in the legs. Now, obviously, you play as Woods, so you could have shot him in the head and killed Alex Mason, but if you're a smart man like me, you didn't do that. You shot him in the legs. And you see Alex Mason and David Mason reunite. And in the post-credits cutscene, you see Chloe on TV, and you watch as Raul Menendez goes insane while stuck in prison. He could have escaped from prison, but because Chloe, aka Karma, remained alive, you watch him rot. And that's pretty much all you need to know for the new game. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left. Wait. Shit. So, for Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, I went mission by mission, pretty much, but I'm not going to do that for Black Ops 3, and that's not even possible for Black Ops 4, so I'm just going to summarize their stories for you right here. Now, at first glance, Black Ops 3 doesn't seem like it's connected to Black Ops 2 in any way whatsoever, but there's actually two things in the game that connected to the previous ones, right? One line where they talk about Raul Menendez in which they say he got what he deserved, so you don't even know if he died or went to prison in the real ending. And there's Nova 6 gas. Okay, so we're just going to summarize the story here. You play as the player and with your companion Hendrix, and you have to track down your old comrades Taylor's gang. Okay? They are starting to kill people for what seems like no other reason. They're looking for the frozen forest, right? So, as you track them down, you end up both taking DNI, like, scans of one of Taylor's gang. Okay? Remember DNI? No, you don't? Okay. So, you take DNI scans of them, and you get infected with this frozen forest bullshit, right? Okay? And you end up finding out that the person who made the frozen forest is named Corvus. He's an AI that took place in a CIA black project a few years back that caused an entire city to go into quarantine. Sound familiar? No? Okay. So, you find out that this whole city had to go into quarantine because of Nova 6 gas. Because Corvus is a dumbass and killed a bunch of people, and now he doesn't want to kill people for some reason. But you, the player, and Taylor are the only ones that can fight back against this infection. And Taylor ends up pretty much sacrificing himself to you. Not to you, but to stop Corvus. And at the end of the game, a soldier asks what your name is, and you say Taylor. Now, at first glance, it might seem like you were Taylor the whole time, but I don't think that's what happened. I think Taylor and the player character actually kind of conjoined, or they like merged minds or something. I don't know how it works, but whatever. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff with Black Ops 4, right? Now, while Black Ops 3 was not very good and very forgettable, it didn't really mess with the story of Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. But Black Ops 4 is an entirely different story. So, I'm going to explain the specialist part first. The specialists, as you know, in the multiplayer of Black Ops 4, they are recruited by none other than Savannah Mason, okay? She is the granddaughter of David Mason, okay? And the reason she recruited them is to fight somebody, but she really wants to know what happened to the murder of her sister, Jessica Mason, okay? So she recruits all of them to fight, I guess, but then ends up trying to kill them. And it turns out Jessica Mason is still alive and puts all the specialists together to fight against Savannah. Now, during your time playing against bots to find the cutscenes for Black Ops 4, it only takes about 3 hours. During your time fighting against bots, your mentor is Woods, right? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, it's obviously a fake Woods, it's not the real one. It's the real Woods. Maybe, okay? Now, in the final cutscene, you have Woods talking to Mason in a wheelchair. And Woods tells him, he talks about Angolia, and he tells Mason, the specific line is, "Nah, man, it's you in the box." Now remember what I said? Woods was in the box, the crate, the storage crate in Angolia, right? Now, so, listen to me. I'm not insane, okay? This makes sense, okay? It makes sense. So, Savannah has the ability to, we'll just call it revive. Savannah has the ability to revive people, okay? And I believe, no, I didn't come up with this theory, but I'm pretty sure there's also some intel in the game that, something about numbers, the numbers. So I'm pretty sure Woods is on the side of Savannah, and he is trying to brainwash Mason with the numbers to help fight against the specialists and kill certain people, right? And that's pretty much all we get. That is all we get in Black Ops 4. There's nothing else. So, that's it. That's everything you need to know for the new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Yes, that's the official name. And glad to see you watched this. Glad to see you're here. And, yeah. That's about it. I'm excited. Still no reveal yet, but maybe tomorrow.